did I get on my math exam? What can I do to make the world a better place? Now, that latter question usually throws me for a loop, and it also happens to be what I'm here to talk about. To be honest, the world is really messed up. I'm standing here in a school while other girls in Afghanistan are being denied their education. I'm able to raise my voice and speak my opinion while others are being silenced with force. Civilians are dying in war, and others are escaping it only to be treated as second-class citizens. Innocent people can't afford basic necessities and can't trust the law to be on their side. Humans share over 98% of the same DNA, and yet our situations are so different. Why am I here instead of there? That is a question I can't answer. But by some random twist of fate, I am standing here today, sending my voice out into the world. The world is really messed up, and dwelling on it too long can give one both a head and heartache, but it is our responsibility to do so. However, there is a difference between being overwhelmed by problems to the point of disillusionment and honoring the people who are suffering by seeking to understand their situations and taking steps to help in the opportunities that are presented to you. It is easy to look at the mess we've made and say that everything would just be better if an asteroid wiped us off the face of the planet. But you, A, can't count on that happening, and B, it is senseless to destroy the beauty along with the bad. Because humanity has done some pretty awful things, but we've done some pretty amazing things as well. You can't consign progress to oblivion, but you also can't expect to fix everything overnight or by yourself. There's only so much you can do, which isn't very inspirational at the face of it, but it is a fact you have to accept. And with that acceptance, move forward to do the things that you can do. You can speak out, discuss controversial and important topics, influence the people around you, and be influenced by them. Share your opinions and beliefs in a constructive and adaptive way. You can wonder, seek to understand the world around you and the people who comprise it. Be curious and inquisitive, and above all, caring. Try to understand what others around you think and need. Listen to people. Help them. Sometimes even the simplest gestures of care, even just a hug, can brighten someone's day. And in doing that, you are already making their world a better place. You can participate in solutions that already exist. You can engage in speech programs like World Speech Day, or volunteer at initiatives like soup kitchens or stream cleanups. Be the person who fills up the box at a food drive and donates what they have to spare for earthquake victims in Syria and Turkey. If you take these actions, you are already making the world a better place. It is easy to feel like you aren't doing enough and get caught in the gravity of your own insignificance. That's why it's important to remind yourself that drastic actions aren't the only ones. A few months ago, I was fortunate enough to meet a very inspiring CEO in the healthcare industry who has done a lot to make the world a better place. We had a chance to talk again recently, and he told me that he was very inspired by me. I had to ask why. Why was an important figure like him, who had done so much for the world, inspired by a 16-year-old who hadn't really done anything at all? He said that my attitude gave him hope for the future. As long as you hold on to your hope and stay honest to yourself and your values, as long as you speak, wonder, and participate, you can be an inspiration even if you don't know it. It is a mistake to underestimate the power of a small gesture.
A better world. It is something we all strive for. But what does that even mean? Education and equality for all? Solving world hunger? Putting an end to racism? Ending all wars? All of those are truly important issues in our current society that need solving. However, I think that there's an underlying problem that, if we will start to address, will help with all the rest. Understanding. What I have noticed is that we have lost touch with one another. Sure, communication is faster than ever, and the possibilities of connecting with others from around the globe are plenty. But is there a sense of empathy and kindness, true kindness from within, that is still present? I don't have an answer or a solution. There maybe isn't one. However, I'd like to think that if we all took a minute out of our day, or even a few seconds, to realize that each person is living a reality as complex as our own, we would all act with a little more respect and empathy for others. There are certain and quite rare moments when a person, someone you would never expect to, shows you the real them. This has happened to me a couple of times in my life, and I can tell you that my attitude towards people has changed significantly. I remember there was this boy in the first grade who didn't like me, and I him. He would push me off the swings and I would stick my tongue out at him. It was all silly things, but the unfriendliness was there. And then, one day, our teacher asked us to bring in one favorite item that represents the true us for show and tell. Amidst all the presentations, it was the story behind that boy's object that stood out in my mind. It was a miniature green knight with a silver helmet and a gold cape. Sure, I thought, how original. But then, something he said changed my perception of him entirely. I don't recall his exact words, but what he said was that this knight was gifted to him by his grandmother, who had passed away not long ago, and when he looks at it, he tries his hardest to be the best he can be. I myself have an intimate relationship with my grandmother, and so when I heard that, I instantly regretted picking all the fights I had with him. I can't say that he and I miraculously became the best of best friends, but I can assure you that we both, in our own ways, started looking out for each other. Of course, I know that it's impossible for all of us to start pulling out all of our skeletons out of our closets and parade with them. That would cause more problems than it would solve. No, all I'm suggesting is for mankind to begin to be more attentive, and maybe, just maybe, we will get a bit closer to achieving world peace. So, the next time you're tempted to judge a person for something you don't quite understand, think about the world they are living in that's hidden to you. And maybe, one day, they will let you in.
It is often said that curiosity killed the cat, but I see curiosity as the virtue that pushes us to wonder, ask questions, and to help us acquire knowledge. One question which interests me personally is what gives a life meaning? The reason this question intrigues me is because people are different in many ways, but one way in which we are all similar, no matter our beliefs, culture, or religions, is that we all ultimately seek happiness and a meaningful existence. So what makes a meaningful life? I asked myself this question and will share my answer with you. First, we can't have a meaningful life without true human connection. From the start to the very end of our lives, we depend on others for sustainment. To deny the very basic need for meaningful connections with others is to deny our own humanity. True human connection in the purest and simplest form, a genuine connection, not based on want, need, or convenience, is what enriches our lives and gives them meaning and purpose. Secondly, a meaningful life is one based on real values, such as integrity and honor. Every culture all over the world has their own stories, with moral lessons passed down through the generations. As children, we hear these stories, we read about them, and we watch them on our screens. The protagonists and their circumstances might vary, but the heavy moral lessons are always there. The reason these lessons are heavy is because values have weight. Whether you believe in them or not, they matter. No matter what is happening around the world, they will still matter. We shouldn't just show up at the table, we should bring something good to it. And the only way to do that is with values. Third and lastly, a meaningful life is accountable to the truth. To thine own self be true, those widely recognized words by Shakespeare's Hamlet. Shakespeare studied all over the world to this day because he was a literary genius with an acute understanding of human nature. And while the world has changed so much since Shakespeare was alive and writing his plays, his work still stands tall. It still holds true. Living your truth means knowing yourself, your values, and what you will and will not stand for. If life is a journey, the truth is a guiding light, a trusted beacon that can help you find your way through any dark stretches. To me, these three things are fundamental ingredients for a meaningful life. Think of it as building a house. First, you begin with purpose. Then you take your values. Blend them together and pour a base to create a basic foundation. These form the pillars on which the rest of your life can be built. Then you build upwards, strong walls for support, large windows to let in light, and the door opening onto the world outside and all it has to offer. Sometimes that door will also need to stay closed when something's not meant for you or in line with your truth. Some people make the mistake of considering only the outward appearance of the house. But what is most important is invisible to the eye. Focusing on external appearances instead of what's on the inside, intangible and invisible, may sound illogical, but just as a house's foundation and structure will determine the well-being and safety of its inhabitants, so too will your inner foundation determine if you will in fact live a meaningful life.
Two weeks ago, I deleted all of my social media. Now, half the people listening to this are probably thinking, no, not this again. The last thing I need is somebody telling me I'm addicted to my phone. And I get it. 2 weeks ago, I was you. I understood that I was addicted to my phone and my social media, but I figured, what could be that big of a problem? Me just looking at videos and scrolling through TikToks of people that I didn't know, how could that harm me so much? Well, the answer isn't exactly one that's hard to find. Look around you. Everywhere, on public transport, restaurants, street corners, everyone is glued to their phones. We on average check our phones 120 times a day. That's crazy. Teens on average spend up to 9 hours on their phones. That's 63 hours a week, 252 hours a month that we spend on our phones. That's the same as having a full-time job and a part-time job. You might be thinking, well, when people are addicted to drugs, it's risking their health and harming people around them. What's so bad about being addicted to our phones? Well, they're basically the same thing. You're quite literally doing and harming the same things. The only thing that gives you instant gratification the way the drugs do is technology. A 5,000-person study found that higher social media use correlated with self-reported declines in mental health and physical health and life satisfaction. There are thousands of psychology experts working on platforms and at apps like TikTok and Instagram, trying to make algorithms that are as addictive as possible so they can engage you with as much content as possible so you can view as many adverts. This makes them more money. There's nobody at any of these tech companies working on it to make it easier for children and teens to regulate their time on screen. There's nobody at these tech companies looking at the disadvantages of these apps. These advanced algorithms basically put anything that they think is going to stimulate the most in front of you, meaning that this could very likely be fake news and propaganda. Studies show that you're more likely to watch fake news than real news on social media. This means you're being subtly manipulated by algorithms that are addicting you to the networks that they were made of. The number of countries with political disinformation campaigns on social media doubled in the past 2 years. 64% of people who joined extremist groups on Facebook did so because the algorithms steered them there. Social media takes away your free will, contributes to the insanity of our world, manipulates the truth, is destroying the meaning of every word you say, annihilates your ability to be empathetic, and makes you miserable. Don't believe me? Well, according to the World Health Organization, teen suicide went up 180% from 2022 compared to 2002. The only thing that changed in these 20 years is, you guessed it, the invention of social media. Look around you. Teenagers are not supposed to be depressed. It's not normal to think regularly about suicide. Eating disorders, self-harm, and anxiety are not normal. Constantly comparing yourself to unrealistic standards of beauty and intelligence is not what humans are supposed to be doing. But unfortunately, it's incredibly common. Teenagers today have the same amount of stress that psych ward patients had in the 1950s, and it's not talked about enough. Now, I don't expect you, after listening to this, to delete all of your social media, but maybe deleting one app for 2 days will give you a little bit of perspective. A lot of the time, we curate videos and photos of ourselves to present ourselves as the most beautiful or cool that we can. We do this to appeal to others, and though I don't blame us for doing this, it's what we've been told we should be doing. We need to realize that as a generation, we are wasting our time. You're wasting your time filming a TikTok that you could be spending that time interacting genuinely with real-life people. I was just like this, and I stumbled upon this dilemma accidentally. I broke my phone, and for 2 weeks whilst my phone was getting repaired, I did not have a phone. For older generations listening to this, it's probably sounding quite pathetic. I get it. You grew up in a generation where you didn't have phones until you were older and you survived. We know. But Gen Z is different. We were in elementary school when you gave us a new world, a social pacifier. You gave us the answer to every single question we could possibly have, access to every website, person, and news we could ever want. You gave us instant gratification and entertainment whenever we wanted. The first iPhone came out the year before I was born. The question isn't, why can't I get off my phone? It's, why should I? Children are not able to self-regulate themselves. If you were to give a child addictive drugs, they would become a drug addict. If you were to give children technology with addictive algorithms, they're going to be addicted to that technology. Adults blaming our generation for being addicted to something that they introduced to us is extremely hypocritical. Trying to undo an addiction is extremely difficult. Half the time we don't even realize that we're addicted to our phones in the first place. Shame and guilt is not the way, and nor is confiscation. The only way we can change our views on social media is by gaining a wanted perspective. The more digitally aware you are about the effects of social media, the more likely you are to have a healthy, non-addictive relationship with your phone and other technology. We're turning into a generation of addicts, and we need to do something about that to change that so we can become a better generation and the future generations are not plagued with the things that we have to deal with. Thank you.
Creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else has ever thought. Albert Einstein. What is creativity? Creativity is the ability to take risks, transcend the norms, and communicate original ideas. Creativity can take shape in many forms. The visual arts, music, the written word. Creativity is everywhere, in all walks of life. First of all, art is often undervalued in contemporary society, and its importance is not always recognized or appreciated. Art is often seen as a luxury or a form of entertainment rather than a fundamental aspect of human existence. What some don't understand is that creativity and art have the potential to make the world a better place. Art has the power to inspire and uplift individuals and communities. It can evoke emotion, spark new ideas, and encourage people to see the world from different perspectives. Art can also provide a sense of hope, comfort, and most importantly, connection in difficult times. Art and creative expression can foster cultural understanding and promote empathy. Through art, we can learn about different cultures, beliefs, and experiences and gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of the world around us. Art and creativity can be used as a tool for raising awareness about social issues and promoting positive change. Artists can address topics such as inequality, injustice, and environmental issues, and bring attention to important causes. Art can give a voice to those who may not have the opportunity or means to express themselves in other ways. What does art mean to me? Art fills a particular void in me. When I'm not creating, I get depressed and I, in a way, lose a sense of my own identity. I was raised by artist parents and surrounded by a creative community. The reason why I love art is not just because I'm a creative person. I've grown to appreciate its power. Through my art, I aim to communicate my ideas and vision for a better world. One that is founded on compassion, inclusivity, and social justice. I try to infuse my creative works with a powerful sense of purpose and intention, serving as a vehicle to voice my beliefs, hopes, and aspirations for the future. I believe that art has the potential to transcend language barriers, cultural divides, and political ideologies, thus enabling individuals from all walks of life to come together and collaborate towards a shared goal of a better world. Furthermore, by encouraging and inspiring others to embrace their own creative impulses, I hope to ignite a spark within them, one that motivates them to explore their own creativity and embrace their unique talents and abilities. I firmly believe that by doing so, we can create a more vibrant, innovative, and dynamic world, one that is grounded in the power of creativity and imagination. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Maya Angelou.
It's no secret that our world is facing many challenges today, and sometimes it is difficult to face and recognize these problems and their gravity. But I believe that there are things we can do, both as individuals and as a society, to make our world a better place. The first thing we can do is recognize the problems occurring in our world today and the ignorance of it, which is the only reason why we are here in the very first place. People around the world are starving, homeless, sick, and unemployed. Our planet is rotting from waste people leave without a second thought. Religion is a weapon, wars are still happening, politics are propaganda, life is money, and money is power. It has happened to everyone to walk down the street and to see people throwing garbage around, even though they happen to have a trash can not too far away. This is because people don't understand the gravity of the situation and live with a mindset that keeps them thinking, people are exaggerating, it's just a piece of trash, it won't make a difference. But with thousands of people having this mindset, it indeed makes a difference. It is important to remember every individual has the power to make a difference, whether it is in a positive or negative way. People build factories and cut trees, the trees that gift us with fruit and most importantly oxygen, which gives us the ability to breathe. All people care about nowadays is making money and then making more money than before, without realizing all the problems humans are creating that are impacting our homes. This is a problem that needs contribution from all of us humans to work together and make our world a better place by changing the way we think and becoming aware of what's happening around us. The Earth might survive, but we definitely won't, and neither will the species or future generations. Therefore, I ask everyone to think about their actions and how they can help improve our planet and the challenges that it faces. Everyone can make a small contribution, such as properly recycling, donating, and volunteering, and much more. We're talking about our planet, the place we live in and call our home, the Earth we love so much to explore, see, and travel. People tend to overlook all the problems our world is facing, without realizing that if we don't start doing something now, we will only realize how problematic things were in the future, and when that time comes, it might just be too late.